They invited me over for dinner, then they beat me unconscious with a wrench. My mom, my dad, my sister, I took them to court and I won $4 million. This is how I destroyed the family that destroyed me.
The fluorescent glow of the ER light seared into my vision as I surfaced from darkness. A nurse with gentle eyes hovered above me. Her words reached me muffled, as if filtered through deep water. My cheek pulsed with a torment so fierce that each inhale stung. Every throb of my pulse unleashed fresh torment across my cranium. "Miss Bennett, do you understand me? You've endured major injury to your features. We must learn the details of the incident." Amid the veil of analgesics, I struggled to shape sounds. My mandible seemed off-kilter, distorted in some way. The left portion of my visage had ballooned grotesquely. I attempted to raise my fingers to probe it, but the nurse softly intervened. "Refrain from contact, dear. Your eye socket bone is shattered, and you've sustained a grave brain jolt. Additional harm affects your zygomatic arch and lower jaw. Law enforcement is present. They require your account of the events." Law enforcement. The term pierced the mist in my mind. I fluttered my lids deliberately, striving to assemble the horror that had landed me here. My sibling Rachel's arrogant smirk surfaced in recollection. Mother's icy stare as she passed that spanner. Father's vice-like hold on my forearm while I sought to shield myself. "My kin," I murmured. Every syllable igniting flames across my features. They inflicted this. The detective who advanced was a lady in her mid-40s called Investigator Lauren Harris. She drew a seat next to my bedside and flipped open her pad with seasoned precision. "Proceed at your pace, Miss Bennett. I recognize the challenge, yet I require the full narrative." Thus, I complied. Amid sobs and suffering, amid the opioid infusion that slurred my speech, I recounted the supper that had shattered my existence. It commenced a month prior when Rachel phoned to declare she was escorting her recent paramour to our parents for the weekly family meal. My sister was 30, 4 years my senior, and had forever been the cherished progeny. Our household. All she grasped transformed to treasure in our guardian's view, whereas I lingered eternally unseen, eternally inadequate. I motored to our youth residence in a quiet Connecticut enclave, a simple double-level dwelling brimming with solely bitter recollections for me. The parking area was jammed with vehicles upon my arrival. Rachel's metallic gray BMW gleamed in the prime slot nearest the entrance. Predictably, within, Mother was arranging the dining surface with her finest porcelain, the collection reserved for notable events. Father lounged in his armchair viewing sports, scarcely noting my entrance with a mutter. No surprise in that. I had mastered long ago that my being hardly imprinted on their awareness. Rachel glided in 20 minutes afterward with her companion trailing. His title was Adam, and he was undeniably attractive in that standard Heartland manner. Lofty, toned physique, impeccably groomed chestnut locks, and a grin that appeared overly rehearsed. He sported a costly timepiece and branded trousers likely exceeding my rent for a lunar cycle. "Meet Adam Walker," Rachel proclaimed, her tone dripping with triumph. "He's a lead finance specialist at Goldman Sachs." Mother nearly fainted with delight. Father rose from his seat to clasp Adam's palm with authentic zeal, an act he had never performed for any suitor of mine. The partiality was so overt it might have amused if not for the ache it provoked. We settled for the meal with Rachel and Adam centered in the spotlight, naturally. I claimed my habitual place at the table's distant edge, the position allotted to the household afterthought. Mother had prepared beef stew, Rachel's preferred, despite awareness of my plant-based diet for 4 years. Dialogue swirled about me as though I were absent. Rachel discussed her role at the advertising agency, the advancement she eyed, the getaway to Bali she and Adam plotted. Mother and father absorbed each phrase, posing queries, chuckling at Adam's bland quips, enacting doting progenitors. I nudged greens on my dish and endeavored to shrink, a talent honed over a quarter-century as the undesired offspring. Yet then Adam directed his attention to me. His eyes had darted my way during the feast, noted but dismissed. Now he fixed on me with an inscrutable look. "So, Sarah, what's your occupation?" It was a basic inquiry, courteous even. The sort posed at any gathering. But as it escaped his lips, the ambience chilled markedly. "I'm a caseworker," I replied softly. "I assist vulnerable adolescents in New Haven." "Oh, that's fascinating," Adam remarked, appearing truly intrigued. "What drew you to that area?" I parted my lips to respond, to describe discovering meaning in aiding youths who sensed as overlooked as my former self, when mother's tone sliced the space like a dagger. "Spare Adam your dull tales, Sarah. He's merely courteous." Her inflection was biting, belittling, yet such address was lifelong. I ought to have recognized to yield, to assent and mute. But an ember within me, a faint flare of rebellion I hadn't known endured, prompted continuation. "In truth, it's profoundly fulfilling. Last cycle, I aided in relocating a 17-year-old female who I failed to anticipate it. One instant, I spoke, the next an eruption of anguish blasted my left facial side. The blow was so abrupt, so savage my mind couldn't comprehend. I savored metallic tang. Crimson flooded my oral cavity. The seat toppled rearward and I slammed the ground, my cranium striking the timber with a nauseating thud. Through hazy sight, I beheld Mother looming. She clutched a spanner, one of Father's garage implements. Her countenance contorted in fury with loathing so unadulterated it stole my breath. "That's your reward for defiance," she snarled. "Who do you presume to humiliate your sibling before Adam?" The torment was beyond words. I sensed fracture in my features. Sensed fluid gushing from somewhere. My sight wavered. I endeavored to rise, but limbs failed. Then Rachel's cackle pierced the buzz in my auditory canals. Shrill, euphoric, vicious. "At least now you're attractive," she howled, gripping her midsection in mirth. "Did you witness her visage?" "Oh heavens!" Adam chuckled too. Not awkward, tense chuckles, but authentic glee. As if my agony was the most humorous spectacle he'd seen. I attempted speech, to query why, but my mandible father's visage loomed, her gaze alight with wicked joy. I believe one strike insufficient. Mother grinned, truly grinned, and lobbed the spanner to Rachel as if casual toss at a kin outing. "Your turn." Dread lent me vigor. I sought to evade, to guard my head with palms, but David appeared. His enormous grip seized my forearms, immobilizing me. I writhed, but he surpassed me by 100 pounds. "Remain steady," he stated evenly, as if directing pose for a snapshot. Rachel elevated the spanner. I beheld its descent toward my features, beheld the twisted thrill in her gaze, then void. Upon rousing in the rescue vehicle, I truly believed demise had claimed me. A responder leaned over, speaking pressingly into a communicator. The alarm blared overhead. All ached. "Persist with me," he repeated. "Stay conscious." "All right." Nearly arrived. Subsequently, I discovered a neighbor had detected uproar and dialed emergency. Mrs. Sanchez adjacent had peered through the meal room pane while promenading her canine and observed the entirety. She summoned authorities instantly and then pounded the portal, evidently halting further schemes my kin harbored. Investigator Lauren Harris concluded my declaration at the facility and vowed personally to guarantee my relatives confronted repercussions. She captured images of my wounds, collected specimens of my fluid-drenched attire as proof, and organized a victims' counselor meeting. The following dawn, defying physicians' objections, I demanded a reflector. The figure gazing back was alien. The full left facial half was violet and inflated to double norm. My optic was sealed by swelling. Sutures wove irregular paths over cheek and brow where the spanner had rent flesh. My mandible was secured shut for mending fractures. Yet my optics, my single viewable optic, blazed with unfamiliar sentiment. Not merely wrath, though abundant. Not solely treachery or sorrow. Nay, it was icy, deliberate resolve. They had sought to shatter me. To annihilate me. But I endured. And they would discover the offspring they had scorned. Her lifespan was vastly more formidable than envisioned. Authorities detained all three in under a day. Mother, David, and Rachel faced felony attack charges with collusion and murder attempt probes. Adam was queried as observer. My ward transformed to operational hub. Investigator Lauren Harris called daily with progress. The prosecutor, keen Lady Samantha Green, discussed personally. Evidently, Mrs. Sanchez's direct testimony plus my harms rendered this among the clearest assault matters she'd handled. Yet I sought beyond penal accusations. I craved their sense of powerlessness, degradation mirroring lifelong infliction. From bedside, I dialed. Initial to attorney Michael Brooks, spouse of past co-worker, expert in kin law and civil disputes. He came swiftly, eyed my features, face stiffened. We'll dismantle them, he stated plainly. Relay all. I did. Not solely the battery, but decades of mistreatment, disregard, partiality culminating here. Omitted birthdays, absences at milestones for Rachel's athletics. The holiday at 13 with lone socks while Rachel unwrapped endlessly. High school honor list when David accused ostentation. Michael scribbled, implement racing on pad. This abuse pattern, he noted. We'll leverage. Documentation. Journals. Admit it. From 15. Each belittlement, neglect, harm recorded to vent emotions. His gaze sparked. Location? New Haven storage. Relocated last year, boxed as intimate. Require them. Vital for penal and civil actions I'll pursue. Next week, as features mended. Gradually, Michael constructed dossier. Retrieved journals, duplicated, verified. Queried past instructors, prior residents witnessing disparity. Amassed fiscal proofs of parents funding Rachel's university while I borrowed. Unearthed grandmother's dual legacy fund, parents diverting my portion for Rachel's BMW. Proof damning, vast, betrayal ledger over eras. Meanwhile, penal advanced. Kin retained costly counsel, alleging mishap, my provocation, instability, self-harm. But Mrs. Sanchez grand jury testimony detailed window view, mother striking with spanner, Rachel priming again, father restraining. Their mirth, grins, nonchalant viciousness. Grand jury charged all on numerous felonies. Adam as post-fact accessory for omitting emergency call, aiding fabrication. Rachel's firm suspended her. David's building firm voided coverage. Mother ousted from congregation council post-revelation. Ideal existences fracturing, I observed from recuperation with stark gratification. Yet unfinished. Michael lodged civil claim for harms, battery, distress, lifelong mistreatment, neglect. Sought $850,000, based on assets, prospects. Lacking funds, Michael said. But home value, pensions, Rachel's BMW, items. We'll seize all. Deposition savage. Michael unrelenting, citing entries, images, academic files. Summoned high school advisor testifying suspected abuse, unprovable. Located childhood doctor's records on underweight, reticent demeanor. Mother, I lost control. Sarah always troublesome, unthankful. Rachel belligerent, ruining my bond with Adam. Always covets my focus. David mute mostly. Uncomfortable, likely seeing pension vanish. Penal trial first, year post-battery. Testified, recounted nightmare on stand while kin glared from defense. Features healed, scars lingered, pale streaks eternal. Jury decided under 2 hours. Guilty all. Mother 6 years. David 5. Rachel 6. Adam 2. Probation, service. Courtroom chaos. Rachel wailed unfairness. I'd wrecked her world. Mother sobbed. David vacant, crushed. I sensed soully chilled fulfillment. Exiting tribunal, world altered. Heavens vivid, atmosphere pure. First time, no burden. Abuse weight, scrutiny, dismissal lifted by dozen strangers affirming truth. I victim, they fiends. Press sees days later. Regional outlets on suburban horror home. Journalists stake tribunal, parents dwelling, initial care site. All queried family capability against kin. I refused talks initially. Michael urged quiet till civil, but tale spread. Journals leaked, excerpts statewide papers. Public read 15-year-old pleas why parents adored Rachel, tolerated me. Read 17 holiday empty box, Rachel new device. Outrage swift, fierce. Networks hashtags. Unknowns messaged solidarity, own kin abuse tales. Some street recognized, shared bravery. Overwhelming, odd, affirming unexpectedly, but not universal sympathy. Rachel allies launched online drive alleging falsehoods, my envy, orchestration to ruin ideal kin. Posted vintage kin photos my smiles as if image negated systematic torment. Rachel sorority peer Bethany radio claimed manipulator. Sarah odd always. Victim role. Rachel said years back Sarah fabricated for notice. Heard in Michael's space. Fists tight, White's knuckles. Michael observed warily, fearing impulse. I'll manage, he said. Cease letter. Persists, defamation add to suit. But shift during broadcast. Silence no longer viable. Public needed direct voice, unfiltered. Scheduled media gathering next week. Michael dissuaded, fearing exploitation, but done concealing. Quarter-century invisible for kin peace that despised me. Nevermore. Gathering at New Haven Center. Simple azure gown, light cosmetics. Scars apparent, faint pale lines catching flashes. Morning hour debating concealant, chose expose. Story part, proof done. Room crammed. Lenses rear. Journalist seats, devices primed. Approached podium, inhaled. Sarah Bennett, share true self, I started. Tone quivered faintly, persisted. Not ungrateful kin claim. Not deceiver, seeker. Survived quarter-century calculated emotional torment, disregard, partiality peaking in mother, father, sister murder attempt. Spoke 20 minutes scriptless. Growing unseen, Rachel all, me nil. Minor cruelties accumulating till worthlessness belief. Moment realization kin not dislike, desired harm. Ended, queries barrage. Testify feelings? Report regret? Public lesson? Family abuse real, subtle. Not always marks. Sometimes erasure, existence burden. Others enduring no faultless, merit superior. Gathering exploded. Day, clip 2.5 million views. National outlets that I appeared on nationwide television programs, though I turned down the majority. The narrative expanded beyond my household. It sparked dialogue on hidden mistreatment and how certain offspring are made the family's blame target by their own guardians. My device buzzed incessantly. Former associates from years past contacted me, many expressing regret for overlooking the situation, for failing to step in. Yet the most unexpected ring originated from Adam Walker's spouse, Rebecca. She connected via my attorney's firm, inquiring if I'd consent to a conversation. We convened at a cafe in New York City, impartial ground. Rebecca was graceful and collected, her matrimonial band notably missing. She possessed beauty in a polished manner, with ebony tresses and perceptive optics that had evidently endured excess. "You must understand I was clueless," she stated right away. "Regarding Adam and your sibling. Regarding everything. I assumed he was laboring extended hours those evenings. I'm uncertain. The purpose of this encounter," I remarked cautiously. "I possess no insight into your union or Adam aside from that evening's events." Rebecca encircled her mug with her palms. "I sought this meeting because I'm ending my marriage to him and require comprehension of the individual I wed. A person capable of observing your relative's actions toward you and finding humor in it. I must discern if other indicators escaped me." We conversed for a duo of hours. Rebecca described Adam's domineering conduct, his insistence on perpetual correctness, the manner he undermined her subtly before acquaintances. She recounted discovering communications on his device from numerous females, beyond solely Rachel. She explained his manipulation when challenged, inducing her to question her sanity for doubting. "Your bravery in pursuing accusations empowered me to discover mine," she declared. "I observed you during the proceedings recounting their deeds, and I understood I needn't remain with one who intimidated me." We swapped contacts and maintained connection. Rebecca emerged as my inaugural patron when I ultimately launched my legal firm. I assisted her through separation and battled for sole guardianship of her offspring. Adam resisted naturally, but his penal history simplified matters. No magistrate desired awarding guardianship to a male who had idly witnessed unconscious battering. The civil proceedings groundwork devoured the subsequent fortnight trio. Michael and his staff toiled non-stop assembling our dossier. They questioned all from my youth, educators, locals, my childhood physician, even guardians of playmates from primary grades. Mrs. Henderson, residing 4 residences away from my progenitors, affirmed she frequently observed me isolated in the rear garden for extended periods while Rachel's companions arrived and departed. "I always found it peculiar," she noted. "Sarah was such a kind youngster, yet perpetually appeared melancholic. I inquired with her mother once, and she dismissed it, claiming Sarah favored solitude. My second-year instructor, Mrs. Patterson, now pensioned, volunteered with archived notes. I recorded worries about Sarah annually under my guidance," she elaborated. "She arrived at institution sans midday meal often. Her attire was frequently threadbare or ill-fitting. Conversely, I instructed her sister years afterward, and Rachel possessed the finest always. It disturbed me profoundly. I notified Child Protective Services twice, but probes concluded both instances. The guardians excelled at facades during inspections, and no corporal marks existed then. The framework abandoned Sarah. Each affirmation, each file, each image constructed an image of youth defined by deliberate isolation and psychological viciousness. Michael arranged it into a display that rendered my parents' counsel visibly uneasy amid questionings. My mother's questioning proved especially illuminating. Michael excelled at posing queries appearing benign yet cornering the respondent. "Mrs. Bennett, explain why Sarah's chamber was markedly tinier than Rachel's. Rachel was elder, required greater area. But upon Rachel departing for university, did you assign Sarah the bigger space?" Hesitation. "No, we transformed it into a hobby area. Thus, you elected a hobby space over providing your junior offspring additional room. Sarah never requested it. Did Sarah ever request anything you granted?" Another hesitation. Extended now. She understood finances were constrained. Yet finances weren't constrained for Rachel's 16th celebration, correct? Receipts here indicate over $10,000 expended on that occasion. Did Sarah receive a 16th celebration? Sarah indicated disinterest. Any proof of that statement? Quiet. Michael extracted a journal of mine, already admitted. Your Honor, permit reading from Sarah's log dated fortnight prior her 16th natal day. Rachel's 16th in 4 months, mother planning half year already. I inquired, perhaps modest gathering for mine with select school companions. Mother regarded me as if requesting millions, stated we'll see, her code for denial. Why bother asking? Should know better now. My mother's complexion drained. Her advocate protested, but harm inflicted. They attempted all lawful tactics to diminish sought compensation. Their counsel contended financial redress couldn't reverse. History, my kin lacked means for such sum, I sought revenge not equity. Michael's retort was systematic and fierce. Accused possessed means to finance Rachel's higher learning, acquire her premium automobile, grant every edge. They elected Sarah's exclusion despite equal duty to both. Not impoverishment, deliberate withholding. We've assessed total holdings, inclusive residence value roughly $225,000, joint pensions $375,000, plus others. Means exist. He enlisted financial specialists computing what I merited in upbringing. My college fund portion, gift equivalents Rachel received I missed, even parental care and effective backing value. Dr. Reynolds, as Child Development Authority, impact of consistent parental bias on unfavored offspring? Dr. Reynolds, esteemed specialist reviewing my records, adjusted spectacles. Studies unequivocal. Favored siblings cultivate entitlement, self-absorption. Scapegoated develop intricate PTSD, melancholy, unease, profoundly impaired self-value. Sarah's logs exhibit textbook signs. She absorbed guardian's conduct as proof of inherent flaw, not identifying mistreatment. Quantifiable monetarily? Therapy lifetime expense for such wound readily 6 digits. Moreover, scapegoated often falter vocationally, relationally from esteem harm, influencing income, bond steadiness. Consequences vast. Defense claimed I appeared stable, employed, housed, operational. Michael rebutted via my counselor's testimony on intense unease, despondency battled since teen years, disordered eating at 16, self-injury at 18. Sarah mastered concealing agony as expression risked in household, counselor stated. Expert at seeming intact while inwardly disintegrating. Not fortitude, endurance. Amid intermission, I entered tribunal lavatory, secured stall. Burden of youth public dissection overwhelming. Each aching recall hauled to illumination, scrutinized, filed as proof. Essential, yet torturous. Heard entrance, duo females entered, tones rebounding tiles. Incredible this matter? Who treats own child thus? Indeed, sister somehow worse. Parents aged, entrenched, but sister youthful. Should know superior. Mother's expression during journal display? Seemed vanishing desire. Deserved. Shame appropriate. They departed. Unaware my presence. Unaware their offhand affirmation valued beyond imagination. Long queried if I problematic. Oversensitive. Demanding. Excessive. Strangers identifying mistreatment unprompted muted that harsh inner tone. Civil proceedings spanned quartet weeks. Jury absorbed scores witnesses, perused hundreds documents, viewed images me varied ages, perpetually family photo margins, faintly blurred, as if lens struggled focus. Final pleas dramatic. Parents' advocate depicted me spiteful, avaricious, unable sibling success acceptance, lashing kin. Michael's finale subdued, potent. Displayed jury photo 8-year-old me, solitary birthday fest while Rachel unwrapped. Sarah her natal day, he said. Rachel opened intended Sarah gift. Observe expression. Envy or child learned irrelevance? Guided through youth annually, event by event. Displayed pattern, deliberate omission, nonchalant viciousness. Accused wish sibling rivalry belief, he stated. Not rivalry. Rivalry suggests contest. Sarah never permitted contest. Merely obliterated. Jury pondered 7 hours. Return, forewoman eyed me directly. Verdict reading. Liable all charges. 4 million compensation. Civil proceedings ensued month later. Jury granted 4 million, exceeding request. Magistrate deemed endured mistreatment calculated, reprehensible, lauded my perseverance. Judgment enforcement, tribunal mandated residence sale, pension liquidation, Rachel vehicle seizure, savings. All labored for vanished. Yet funds insufficient. Desired their grasp of erasure sensation. Non-existence. Judgment implementation by court-designated administrator, straightforward female Margaret Hoffman, 3 decades experience. Proficient, unrelenting, ideal for me. Permitted. Attendance parental home inventory for disposal. Michael accompanied legal safeguard, ethical backing. Re-entering residence post-battery surreal. Meal area sanitized naturally. No blood trace hardwood, yet I still.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss a twist. Stay tuned to Reddit Tales Times for your daily dose of drama, laughs, and unbelievable stories.
Family isn't always love. Sometimes it's a crime scene. If this story moved you, like, subscribe, and share your own in the comments. You're not alone.